Hi, princess. Ooh. Hello. You gonna say hi to the nice people later? You wanna give them a smile? Say hi. Say hi. Anyways, hi everyone. Welcome back to my channel. So today you can already tell by like the title what exactly we're gonna talk about. Yeah, I didn't think that was possible because people always joke about it all the time, like how you get fired on your day off. Well, apparently that can happen, and I'm kind of like shocked. I felt like they did me kind of dirty the way it happened, but you know what? Whatever. It is what it is. Yeah. So let's start. Basically, you guys knew that I was pregnant and I went on maternity leave. And basically, I went on maternity leave around December. I was due in February. So when you take FMLA, maternity leave, it's about 12 weeks long. And my 12 weeks would have basically ended March 5th. And March 5th was my expected day to go back to work after I have the baby, if no complications happen and, the doctor wants me to stay out a little longer. So basically, when you have this FMLA, you have to communicate with this system called the Matrix, which is these are the people that are basically like updating you and updating your job and basically letting them know, hey, this is what's going on with her while she's out, and this is what she needs and blah blah blah, whatever. So basically, after I had my baby, I called the Matrix and I basically let them know, hey, I had my baby on the 5th of February. Like, what is the next step from here after I have the baby? And basically they're like, okay, since you have the baby, since the baby came early, you have to get an additional 6 weeks on top of your FMLA. So instead of returning back to work on the 5th of March, I would have been going back to work on the 18th of March. And she let me know that I'm supposed to get, medical leave until I get medical clearance to come back to work. So I was like, oh, okay, no problem. We're so funny. So I was like, no problem. Cool. So she put it in. She put in the request. And she basically told me, like, with the request, there's no guarantee that I can get the maternity leave. I mean, the 6-week medical clearance. And I'm just like, that doesn't make any sense because I need medical clearance to come back to work. If my doctor said I can't come back to work, I can't come back to work. So, and she's like, oh, it's not our decision. It's really your job's decision. I was like, okay, no problem. I'm like, this shouldn't be an issue because, they're already short on staff and they need me to come back to work. So I need to be medically cleared to come back to work because the last time I had a baby, they wanted my note from my doctor letting me know like, hey, I'm medically cleared. I can come to work. Other than that, they wasn't going to let me come back to work. So with the new director, he moves a little funny. So anyways, she put in the request for me and like, keep track of these dates, guys. So March 5th was when the first FMLA was supposed to end. And she put in the request for medical leave. So March 18th is when I'm supposed to come back. So this whole time, I'm waiting until I get a response. So she told me it is going to take, a couple of weeks to get a response back for the medical leave or whatever. So I was like, okay, no problem. So, around that time, I'm still there, recovering, enjoying my baby. Still haven't seen my doctor yet because it's not my 6-week checkup yet. So March 4th, I get a phone call from the Matrix, and I also saw online the email from them saying my medical leave was denied. So I called the lady in the Matrix, and I was like, why did my medical leave get denied? Because I need the clearance to come back to work. And she basically told me that, oh, it's not her, it's actually my supervisor. I was like, okay, no problem. I was like, so what exactly do you want me to do? And she's like, oh, just call your supervisor, let them know, and then call me back. I was like, okay, no problem. So I waited like after 5 p.m. to call because, I work night shift, so my supervisor comes in at night. So I called my supervisor and I basically told her like, hey, I haven't seen my doctor yet for my 6 weeks checkup. I just had the baby. My FMLA supposedly was supposed to end on the 5th, but since, I had the baby early, I'm supposed to wait until after I see my doctor, which my appointment was already set for March 18th, and my medical leave was supposed to be until March 18th. Apparently my medical leave was denied. What is the reason why my medical leave was denied? And she was like, oh no, I don't handle that. And she's like, okay, so I'm just making a note that supposedly you're supposed to come back, after March 18th. I was like, yeah, I'm supposed to come back after March 18th. And she's like, okay, I'm just gonna make a note on that so I can know when to start putting you on the schedule. You just call me back and let me know what's going on. I was like, okay, no problem. I'm like, so who exactly deny my medical leave because Matrix said it's the supervisor, you're my supervisor. And she's like, oh no, I don't make those decisions. You need to call the director, Mr. So-and-so. We're gonna leave it like that. And I was like, oh, he denied my medical leave. I was like, okay. So I was like, no problem. I'll call him in the morning. So right now, this is like February, let me see, February, March. This is March 7th that I made the phone call, night shift. So March 8th in the morning, I called my director. So I called and I was like, hey, so-and-so, I just got in contact with, the supervisor, and she let me know that you're the one that denied my medical leave. What is the reason why? And he basically told me some BS excuse, talking about, oh, since everybody is using their FMLA to do travel assignments, so everybody's automatically getting denied medical leave so they don't extend their contract. And I'm like, okay, that has nothing to do with me, since I went and had a baby. It's not like I'm out here traveling and making money. I'm over here, I pushed out a whole human being, and I need medical clearance for my doctor to come back to work. I'm still having postpartum bleeding. I have not seen my doctor yet, and that really shouldn't apply to me, more because the fact that I didn't take FMLA to go travel. I took FMLA because I had a baby, and now I need my medical clearance to come back to work. And he's like, oh, it's out of my hands. It's out of my hands. I can't do anything about that. Try calling, Employee Health, and let them know what's going on and make a note of it. Straight BS. Like, first of all, you're the director. That has nothing to do with employee health. Like, whatever. Anyways, so I tried calling Employee Health. I'm gonna play his game. I tried calling Employee Health to see, if I can make a note of this, that I'm keeping track of all this. And, I got no answer from Employee Health. And then next thing you know, like 2 weeks later, I got a letter in the mail saying that they've received my resignation letter, and that effective immediately March 4th, I resigned from my position at that facility. I was like, what the heck? How in the world is that even possible, that I resigned March 4th when I got denial for my medical clearance March 4th, when technically, if I was okay to come back to work March 5th, my date to come back was supposed to be after March 5th. So I'm like, all right, somebody's playing around right at this point. So I got that letter. I called the phone number on the letter, and it took me directly to basically the HR downtown in the main campus. And I called them and I was like, hey, I received this letter in the mail saying that I resigned. You guys received my resignation letter, when I never resigned. And what resignation letter exactly did you guys receive? And they were like, oh, well, you took FMLA and it says that you didn't return back from your FMLA. I'm like, but the resignation letter is for the 4th. My FMLA technically don't end until the 5th. So how exactly did you guys know that, if I wanted to resign beforehand? Like, what sense does that make? So I was going back and forth with the lady, trying to explain to her, like, hey, this is what happened. Then I got denied medical leave and I haven't got medical clearance. So how exactly can I come back to work if it's not okay for me to come back to work? I don't know if it's okay for me to come back to work. I'm still having postpartum bleeding. And the lady was like, you know what? You have a point. So she redirected me again to the head of HR. Whoever's like the head, they directed me to that man. And I got the voice machine. So I left a message and I explained to him what happened. And basically he said that, he'll call me back. So now, while I'm waiting for the phone call back, I called the lady in the Matrix. And I told her, I'm like, hey, I just received a letter in the mail saying that I resigned on the 4th. I'm like, isn't that strange? Because on the 5th is when I'm technically supposed to come back for FMLA, and it was on the 4th I found out my medical leave was denied. And she's like, you know what? That is strange. And I was like, yeah, how is that possible? And she's like, it looks like they sent you a letter on February 18 saying that, your FMLA is about to end. I never received that letter. And it looks like your job posted that your FMLA in February 28. I'm like, how is that possible when FMLA goes through you guys and it's supposed to end March 5th. And she's like, you know what? That's true. I'm like, yeah, somebody messed up and someone's not communicating. So what's going on? And she's like, you know what? I'm going to look into that. So ring, ring, ring. I got the phone call from, head of HR in the downtown campus. And basically, he's telling me that, hey, your resignation letter looked like it was, sent to your director. On the date it was sent to my director, it says it was CC'd to him March 4th. Mind you, I spoke to this man March 8th. And he's over here talking to me, making it seem like, everything's all good. Just go to, go to employee health and do this. But this whole time, he's gotten the letter. Like, it was CC'd to him, the resignation and everything. He didn't even inform me because around that time, I didn't even receive the letter yet in the mail. But he gotten it the whole time and he knew about it. And he's over here playing dumb with me. So that says a lot right there. So now I spoke to head of HR. I didn't even bother contacting the director back because I already can see that he's full of crap because he already knew about this whole time. But obviously he did not want me here. But he wasn't going to try to get rid of me himself because I'm not even gonna lie to you, when I came back to work, later on, I was getting harassed. Like, they were using all type of little excuses to try to write me up, but they really couldn't find nothing to write me up about because I'm not an incompetent nurse and I knew what the hell I was doing. So every single time they try to write me up about some nonsense, it always got thrown out because I can defend myself and they don't really have no reason to really write me up. So that was out the door. And I feel like me taking this FMLA was their way of getting me out the door. So anywho, it gets even better. So this week already, it's already the week of where I'm supposed to get my 6 weeks checkup. That's actually the day before. I was supposed to get my 6 week checkup. It's the 17th of March. And I'm speaking to this man on the phone, this HR guy on the phone. And I'm basically explaining to him hey, I never received this quote unquote letter that, you guys claim that you guys sent out February 18. I never got that. According to the matrix, my FMLA was supposed to end on the 5th, but I've gotten this resignation letter on the 4th. My medical leave got denied on the 4th. I already spoke to my director and I told him, hey, I need my medical clearance to come back to work. And basically, I don't get cleared until the 18th, which is tomorrow. So, after explaining all that to him, basically I just broke it down for you guys. After explaining all that to him, he was just like, okay, here's what I can do for you. And I'm over here I'm listening. Basically, you get your clearance tomorrow, right? And I'm like, yeah, if the doctor wants me to come back to work tomorrow, yes, I technically get my clearance tomorrow. And he's like, all right, so if you get your clearance tomorrow, can you come to work tomorrow? What? I was like, sir, what? And he's like, yeah, if you can do that, I can reverse everything. I'm like, sir, you didn't realize that I have a 6-week-old child and you want me to come back to work tomorrow, which is something that's completely unplanned because as far as I know, you guys fired me on the 4th. So now you guys want me to come back to work tomorrow to reverse everything? I was like, yeah, that's not gonna happen because that's an inconvenience to me and my family because I'm not gonna have anybody to watch my child. It's not like I gave y'all a schedule and be like, here, I'm ready. This is the day that I'm gonna be able to come start back work because that's kind of how FMLA work. It's not like the day that I'll say I'm supposed to, the day the FMLA is in is not the day I'm supposed to come back to work. I'm supposed to let you guys know the day that I'm supposed to come back to work that week. And I'm like, yeah, that's completely impossible and it's not gonna happen. And he was just like, unfortunately, if you can't come back to work, then it's just gonna stay at that. I was like, unfortunately, that's what it's gonna have to be. So, I just wanted to know what's my status, with you guys. According to the paper, does it say on determination, does it say fired or resign? Because if it's resign, I'm fine. Because the thing is, if it's fired, if it's not fired, then, I wouldn't be able to come back in the system even if I wanted to. But according to him, it's resign. Because I'm just like, I've never been fired for a job before, and y'all not about to come make me look stupid. I called some of my friends, and they basically told me, girl, you should go back to work and then quit on them. And I was just like, you know what? I thought of it because y'all not about to come fire me. I'm going to quit. But anyways, I'm bigger than that now, and on top of that, you know, I have like bigger things to worry about, like my child. So I didn't feel like dealing with that because the hospital is unionized, and I didn't feel like wasting my time with them, to be honest, especially since I already made up my mind, like, this place is grimy and I'm not gonna stay there any longer. So I'm just like, you know what, forget about it. So anywho, you know, he let me know that it's gonna be like, you know, as if I resigned. So it's not gonna be like, you know, I got fired or anything like that. So I was just like, okay with it, as long as you send me my benefit packet and I can keep paying out of pocket, then I'm straight. But yeah, guys, this is my story. Like, I still, like, till this day, I'm still over here like, wow, this dude like really tried it. Like, what he did was some real illegal stuff right there. Cause it's like, how you literally just forced me out the system. Like, I don't know who you lied to, but you told him my FMLA was up on the 28th when it's actually like documented for the 5th. Then you made it seem like I resigned on the 4th when I got documents saying that my medical leave was denied on the 4th. And I called you like 3 days later and you over here played dumb with me and made it seem like you knew nothing about this letter that was already out, and I'm over here like freaking running around trying to figure out what's going on. But you know, the fact that I know the whole story and what happened, yeah, like, I'm at peace with the situation. But if I didn't know what was going on and I had to find out from like a third party, I would have been real pissed. But you know, I'm not upset because the fact that, you know, I was already in the process of you know, going through another job process before all this happened. So I didn't really have plans on coming back. So, you know, God blessed me with another job that paid double. And I'm just grateful that I have another job to support my family. But I'm gonna tell you something, like, God don't like ugly. And dude gonna have something coming from him, because he's making it seem like he did not just have a baby last year. And he's making it seem like he doesn't know the process of how everything went. Yeah, mama. God don't like ugly. We gonna let him know God don't like ugly. And you can't just be trying people like that. Okay? Alright, so that's my little story, y'all. So I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Oh, what are you smiling at? Lord, Maya. Jesus Christ. You're just spitting that all over the place, huh?